Not what I expected. A little taller. A little more polished than the others.
Oh, I'm so glad you're pleased, Mr. Townsend.
But I'm afraid just as obvious.
Hello, and welcome to the SP Film Viewers podcast.
We're your hosts, Sophie and Paul, where we talk about movies I've never seen.
And sometimes movies I've never seen.
You can find us on all major podcast platforms.
Please remember to subscribe and review our show wherever you listen.
And follow us on social media. Just search for SP Film Viewers.
And now, on with the show. I feel it's been a while we've not covered a Hitchcock film. This is one I've wanted you to see for quite a while. And it's got a familiar face.
Who?
Cary Grant
Oh.
is the main lead.
This could have said James Stewart, but obviously I don't know how many Hitchcock apart from The Rear Window.
Vertigo.
I feel like maybe I'm asking too much here. Since we've already seen the ones, maybe. I don't know if there's any more of him.
Yeah, there's others ones, yeah.
Is there?
Yeah. Why aren't we doing that?
Yeah. Of a Hitchcock.
Yeah, Hitchcock, yeah.
Oh, so I'm not asking too much.
No.
I just don't mind Cary Grant, but if I could have James Stewart over Cary Grant, I would have James Stewart any day.
Well, I'll get more into the depths of within that probably after we've watched the film. But so yeah, this film is called North by Northwest. It was made in 1959, and it's like a spy thriller aspect.
North by Northwest. Have you not Northwest? West, Miss Westy. Bless me. I mean, I've said too much. We're gonna get
No.
shut down now. It's Kanye after all.
Oh, Yeezy's gonna. No, I don't think so. So yeah, there's the element of suspense in it, as all Hitchcock films have. One of the reasons I want to revisit because I've got this nice special edition.
Is that new, or is that just something you've had sitting on the shelf for a while?
For a while, but I think I got it this year, I think. But it's like the opportunity to cover it. I know we covered some older films earlier in the year, so it's like, okay, let's just space it out a bit and watch it, yeah. It's quite a longish one, though, as well, so we've got a bit of time before things get
busy, yeah. It's going to be summer months, which is like birthday season, so for us.
Within that, so quite a moment to fit that in.
So what's it about?
It's about a New York City advertising executive who goes on the run after being mistaken for a government agent by a group of foreign spies.
I feel like we've watched something similar. Not sure what I'm trying to think of. More current, obviously not old.
Right. Not mistaken identity.
Yeah. I feel like that's... Am I thinking of Thelma and Louise, but it's not...
Well, they're on the run,
They are on the run, and they generally
yeah.
should be, but yeah. Interesting. What's he done wrong? He apparently hasn't done anything wrong. But, well, you don't know, he could just be saying that and he actually has done something wrong. So why is it so long? How long is it?
Film is 2 hours and 16.
Wow, that is a long film for back then.
We say that, but then Singing in the Rain and Sound of Music is also very long, and you don't complain about those films.
But they make me happy.
Even like Mary Poppins, I think is, and
Mary Poppins is a classic.
It's like longer than you think it is, which is again you think like how did they have the attention? Kids have the attention spans back then but if that's all you weren't distracted by phones.
Yeah, it's true. So. Literally, television was the main distraction.
Yeah, it's a good one. Looking forward to getting your thoughts on it and obviously revisiting it myself. So
I'm glad it's an oldie anyways. That's something I normally enjoy. Yeah. So we'll see.
And so there you go. Cary Grant, but...
Yeah, he'll do.
Yeah. I don't think...
Is he an older Cary Grant then in this one? Compared to like...
Yes.
Is it Bringing Up Baby?
Yeah, older. Much. Don't think you'll know any of the other people. I can't say I'm like, oh yeah, I know him from other films or her films.
Well, we don't really... I'm guessing we don't have a lead lady as such.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Oh. Just from the description, it didn't sound like a romance.
Well, we have to see how that blossoms.
Mm.
So, let's go and watch North by Northwest.
You listen to me. I'm an advertising man, not a red herring. I've got a job, a secretary, a mother, 2 ex-wives, and several bartenders dependent upon me. And I don't intend to disappoint them all by getting myself slightly killed.
And we're back, having watched North by Northwest. What do you think?
It's long.
Too long?
No, maybe. I think I enjoy it. There's some
Enjoyed
bits
it.
where I definitely think if I was making a Sophie's edit choice, I would cut out.
Okay.
And when I say that, though, I'm probably saving myself maybe 20 minutes, half an hour max, not even that.
So, trim it down to 2 hours, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I think certain parts are really valuable and it's intriguing. This is one of the longest notes I've taken. I think it's just making sure like there's lots of what's happening just for beat for me to remind
Yourself.
myself.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, we've got Roger Thornhill,
Mm-hmm.
who's meant to be George. Is it Kaplan?
He's mistaken as this person called George Kaplan, yeah.
We never know who he is or what he looks like or if it's even a person because like the
Well, he's not. He's not. It's later revealed that it's not. It was just an identity that was made up completely.
Or is it her?
Why would it be her? It's George Kaplan.
But I think further along the line we get to a outcome where, like, obviously, our Roger, Cary Grant character is on the run, isn't he? From the police. Well, from the police and from. What would you call them? Like these people that are after him? I don't know. They're like the baddies.
Well, they're like the foreign spies, or like they're. Think of it. I know you haven't seen James Bond films, but obviously they're like hired guns to take James Bond down or whatever in those scenarios. It's a similar situation with this.
I see. So, like, even though I haven't watched James Bond, I feel like this is a lot of inspired, like, from James Bond, like.
Well, this came before, like, even the first one was even made, so...
It's a man in a suit that gets a girl in the end, and there's all these baddies after him. But obviously, James Bond, there is a reason why these people are after him, I think.
He's an
actual spy
who's
Whereas,
got a gun and everything. He's got a license to kill and all that kind of stuff. So.
Whereas, obviously, Cary Grant's guy... What is it? He's an advertiser,
yeah.
Isn't he? He's in
New
advertising.
York, yeah. So he gets embroiled in all this. Obviously, like, he's very confused at the beginning, and
he is, bless him, and he's being kidnapped, and he doesn't understand, like, why.
But he's got that Cary Grant charm, hasn't he?
Do you think though James Stewart could have done it?
Well, I tell you about on that note with this.
Okay.
From previously, so James Stewart in the booklet that I've got that's come with this package, it says. James Stewart was very interested in starring in this movie and begged Alfred Hitchcock to let him play Thornhill. Hitchcock claimed that Vertigo's lack of financial success was because Stewart looked too old. MGM wanted Gregory Peck, but Hitchcock cast Cary Grant, who ironically was actually 4 years Stewart's senior. So,
well, he's older than
James Stewart.
Poor James Stewart. I think he would play off more like, hey, what's the big idea kind of thing. Like,
wait a minute.
Yeah. I just think it would have worked for me. Like, I would have. And I did think Cary Grant looked old in this. Like,
is it because it was in colour and it was like seeing more of the greys?
I definitely saw more of his greys, and he just didn't. It wasn't as chiseled, like his jaw.
Oh no, he still had that chisel look.
But not. It was a bit softer. It wasn't as, and you could just see more lines on him. Like, he just wasn't his young self, which is fine.
Yeah.
But don't deny me James Stewart when you tell me he's looking too old compared to Cary Grant, who's older than him. That's just taking the mick. And I could see James doing a sterling role.
It'd be interesting in like in a parallel universe.
I think I'd definitely prefer it. 100%. I think Cary Grant for me is a bit more of a sleazeball. He thinks he's got that sex appeal,
which is I mean, kind of works in when you, again, you haven't seen, but in the way that James Bond operates, so especially with women, it's like, ooh, like that kind of.
Oh yeah, any woman
corniness and, like,
literally falls at his feet.
Yeah.
I'm aware of what James Bond is.
Yeah.
I don't need to watch it to
okay,
know.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it's never going to be a thing for me. That in.
Mm. And he gets with several women in
That's the
within a
thing.
film, whereas this is there's only one in this.
Yeah.
That's of interest. Yeah.
True, but I feel like doesn't he have a wife?
No, he was divorced twice.
Divorced twice. There we go. That's why I thought it was a sleazeball.
Yeah.
Because it's like when you're on to your third marriage. Back then as well, being divorced is not really a common. Like obviously, like being divorced now is just like, all right, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's not as
Yeah.
out of the ordinary to be divorced. Whereas back then it'd be like, oh, like a bit of a taboo kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah. Probably past, post-war thing. It probably
Still,
was bad, but yeah.
It would, and like also this bit where like the kissing and kind of like assume things are going to happen, and it's a little bit like, oh, okay. I really thought you'd have to marry her first.
No, I think it's much more open after that. But people had like affairs all the time.
It was just frowned upon though.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it still is now, but
No, I mean, more the out of marriage was really frowned upon. Like if she got caught pregnant, but I feel like these people are a bit. Do you think like in the early 40s? Do you think that's what vibe you're getting? Even though she says she's 26,
yeah.
But he's not. He's been married twice, so like unless he's been married when he was 16 and then 26, so maybe he's 36.
Yeah,
that's given a credit of unless his marriages have lasted just a year. Not sure.
No.
I do think it's intriguing. It keeps you on your toes. There's a lot of plot twists that you don't see coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll be honest. Eva, is it Eva or Eve?
Eve Kendall. But,
I think she's called Eva as an
yeah, her actress name is Eva Marie Saint, which I don't think I've seen her in anything what's listed in this, like what she's won Oscars for and stuff in the past.
She's pretty.
Yeah, no, she's quite striking, and her character as well is kind of like, she's not like a total like damsel in distress type of thing. I think she got her wits about her really. She got a strongish.
Sassy,
yeah. So which is good. It plays alongside Cary's Roger Thornhill's character. Yeah,
100%. I do think though, when I initially see her, I straight away think, no, there's something up with her. She's sus. Like, I'm already aware, there's an issue.
Yeah, blonde bombshell type of.
Yeah, a little bit of a Marilyn Monroe in a sense, but obviously, if you had to pick between the two, Marilyn Monroe would win every time, wouldn't she?
Mm.
And I think for me, she's I straight away while watching it tarnished her with like you're a bad egg. She's clearly she's helping him, but she's got an interior motive, and I assumed she was working on the baddie's side.
Mm-hmm. A trait that also carries over with Bond films as well.
And I do think even like you can laugh at me now comparing it to Hercules, but
Meg,
yeah. In a sense, like she don't want to be on the bad side, but she is, and I think that's how the vibe you get.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think that then would be another twist that she's actually an agent.
Right, I see what you mean by
I just thought it was going to be bog standard.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh no, what am I doing?" kind of thing. And
like a Meg situation where it's like, "Oh no, but I
love
love him," and it was just going to be that. But then actually, a third twist came where it's actually she's doing good and she does care for him. She's trying to catch the baddies out. Yeah, and it kind of works. Mm-hmm. There is a couple of things which I don't value.
Okay.
So I really love all the chasing, getting off the train, him in his hat, and all the clever, kind of sneaking around, and a little bit of an inspector, figuring out what George Kaplan is, and him with his mum and the banter. I think all of that is beautiful and it works. Yeah. I think for me, yet again, it's always the action things where I get a little bit, this is boring now. And I think this is why I wouldn't appreciate a James Bond at all.
Right, which, do you mean the very end, or is there another part that's, because I know by the end you were like, okay, this is a bit far-fetched.
It's the bit at the end. Right. It's the bit where, and then it's just the way, I think it just feels rushed, the ending, to me. You have such a long period. Where are they again? They're on them 4 people's heads.
Mount Rushmore. The black presidential heads, yeah. So we've got George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
So like founding fathers of like American
history, yeah.
Yeah. So
But to be fair, they're just literally foreheads, aren't they,
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't think anyone... Yeah, you could maybe stand on the top of their heads.
Mhm.
That could possibly happen.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I don't think they're meant to be abseiled down or climbed
Someone
down.
will have to do to chisel them out, though. You know, to begin with.
True. But I don't think the whole...
Hanging on, like sliding down, climbing down. Is...
Yeah, and like a bit of a maze, like, oh, there's somebody peeking over on that head, and then, oh, we're over on this head, and I'm just like, this is getting a little bit too far-fetched now.
Right.
Like, and it's feeling slow, like, it's not like it's quick and snappy, it's like, oh, we're stumbling.
But you said it was rushed.
No, so the bit that's rushed is once the kind of, he grabs her up
Yeah.
from one of the heads,
Yeah.
and then the leap into the train bit.
That's just a. I think that's a
but
clever
then it's just
cut,
like-
actually, because it's like, no, like, dilly-dallying, like...
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, well, they've bloody dilly-dallied all the way running around these four heads. And then it's like, oh, look, right, we're back on the train, we're safe now. You don't actually show you any action of what happened and how they got out or escaped.
I don't think you need to.
It just, there was no value of running around the heads, like, and then...
Well, there was, because it was like
No.
getting rid of the...
Well, one of them
building
died.
the suspense up of that.
There was no suspense. It was just like, oh, just get it. We know they're going to be fine, so just get it over and done with. Like, it's wasting time. Like, that could have definitely cut off 16 minutes of just walking around heads.
But that's like one of the main features of, like, when you think of this film, that is like one of the set pieces of...
I don't care. They could
thing.
have done it differently. They could have still used it.
Right.
But I just don't think how they used it really brought like a... Oh, do you remember seeing that scene where they walk all over the heads
Yes.
and how
Yes.
photographic and stunning it was? I'm thinking, not really.
Let's say that is like one of the things that you think of when you think of this film, like the crop duster scene. Like that is like one of the like most like more iconic than probably the
I
heads.
appreciate that.
You do,
Yeah. That's more sinister as well because it's like they literally just want to like fly into him with an aeroplane, like, and he's got nowhere to go. But I don't get why she puts him in that position, and that's the bit where you think, oh well, actually, she's just trying to play a double bluff agent. But did she actually think he were going to be okay? I'm not sure. Like, was she?
Well, he's
was
got
she
his wits about him to avoiding the
maybe she was
police
risking it anyways, just because it's like she was wanting her life over his.
Potentially, yeah.
I do think the first scene where he's like pinned and gets kidnapped, and then they're like trying to shove alcohol down his throat and then put him in a car.
Yeah.
And even that seems more impressive, like the skills of like, oh, he's going to fall off the cliff. Oh, no, he's not. And it's like that kind of humour brings in a little bit with the action, and I think that works a bit better for me.
Right. Okay.
Whereas this is just like, oh, walking around a little bit, and then like, and it's just like, oh, God's sake. And I think it's because you know they're going to be fine, like, 'cause it's this type of film, like, when has James Bond ever died? No. Like, how many films are there of James Bond? And he's still not dead.
Yes.
You've had to have different James Bonds casted because he's just like an invisible man.
Invisible man? What do you mean?
Invincible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even Iron Man died, like...
Spoilers.
You know, well, if you haven't seen Endgame now, then that's your own fault. But you know what I mean? Like, he's a superhero, but he dies, but James Bond just feels like he's just this everlasting
Says
thing.
somebody who's not seen it.
Well, it's just like Mission Impossible, it's the same thing, even though it's meant to be the last one this time round. He's just a small man running around on set, isn't it?
Yeah. Jumping out of planes and stuff. But yeah, similar thing. I don't need to...
Don't get me wrong, like, it sounds awful. Like, I know I couldn't do it, and it is impressive to be that Tom Cruise does all his stunts.
Yeah, sure.
It's just, that's just not what I'm there for. I think
No, same. In some regards, yeah. I know I've got like some, like a slight vendetta against Tom Cruise. Like, I'm not really a big fan of his work, but like, yeah, sure, I can appreciate stuff, but I know I don't really need to see the films to know what they're about. I'm sure I'm going to speculate here, but I doubt the plot's very like, really intricate and like, the deep meaning behind things. It's more just, look at the things I can do, fighting people on a plane and hanging off and all that kind of stuff. And yeah,
like, obviously this has got great dialogue.
Yeah, it has that element of it, like Hitchcock films do, and like.
But I think every old kind of film like this age does have fantastic dialogue.
But you got to also going back to with the the Mount Rushmore head stuff. Think about the people like that will have been like, oh my god, like for them back in the 50s, being drawn in by that and thinking it's quite impressive. But no, for a modern standard, you might think, yeah, it's a bit.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, is it actually the heads they're using, or is it just a set where they've got these big heads? Like,
yeah, because you can see there's is a nature with 4K. Sometimes you can see like the green screen a little bit on some aspects, and that'll just be like a mock-up thing they will have done on set. There's no way they will literally, except for like maybe far away shots, like taking a photograph or video still of that. But yeah, to actually be there climbing down, that'll be made to look like it.
Also, in your little booklet, it has a photo of the lead and Cary Grant near the camera, and like a little postcard thing that you've got, and it's just the size of the camera as well. It's like it's massive. Like,
oh right, let me see. Oh yes, yeah.
It's like near enough as big as her.
Yeah, so this was filmed in VistaVision, which is like another aspect I wanted to see as well, because like seeing like that old, is it 35mm camera with that aspect, obviously more space to play around with and like fill the screen and stuff.
It's
so
daft that that's 35mm when it's like that. Like, it must be like obviously just a big canister in there of 35mm film. Because that's not big in 35mm. It's
no,
tiny,
I know,
tiny screen.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
But then you think about how it's enlarged and on all of this, like, I can go into how amazing it is, but then I could do that with every old film and say, like, how fantastic it is. Like, the fact that the quality what we watched it in was great.
Yeah. Like, somehow you think about how these old films, how can it look so good in thing? But generally, if it's 35mm, you're going to get a better transfer of that. That's always like all for like 4K stuff, especially older films coming out, to bring them to life a bit more and the vibrancy. So sometimes it's like seeing it like, it's almost like it was filmed yesterday type.
It was really sharp, and there's some stunning shots
like
that
I say,
got.
Now and again, there's some things about, not everything's going to be sharp as a pin kind of thing, but yeah, generally, it's still the scope of things and looks really great.
I think for Roger's character, he's just going about his life, and then like something just turns it upside down, and he's just like, what have I done? Like, why have I been roped into this? You never kind of understand why these people think it's him either. Like, what suspicions they have, or why they're suspecting him. Like, it's just out of the blue, and then they just kidnap him. But at the same time, you feel sorry for him, because it's like, well, he's not really done anything wrong. He's trying to tell the truth, but no one believes him. Like, it's just like, so he looks like he's lost his marbles, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're meant to murder you. Like, there's one point where his mum's laughing at him in the elevator, but they are actually trying to kill him. But everyone's laughing, thinking it's funny. And then obviously when he goes to find, he actually goes out of his way to find the person who's meant to have owned the house and everything. Yeah. And then the guy's still like, watching him and stabs him.
Townsend, Lester Townsend, and then he's about to tell him, do you know this? He like shows him a picture. Do you know this person? And then he immediately gets knifed in the back.
Yeah. And then someone that looks like...
Yeah, and he's like, because... Yeah, that makes it... It's like, oh, no, it's not what it looks like.
Yeah.
Type of situation, but let's make... And you're like, oh, no. You
said, I don't know why he took the knife out of his back. I'd have left it.
It would look less suspicious.
Yeah, it would have looked less suspicious.
Holding it.
Yeah, holding it.
Above, yeah.
And I think I don't know, can you envision James Stewart doing that? Like a...
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that would have been more prone to his humour for me.
In a way, yeah. I think so.
I don't know. I don't think I've seen Cary Grant in a humorous, not like... He's in comedy, but not like James Stewart humour. He's normally just the cool, calm, collective, like, dapper, smooth guy. But there's a bit more comedy element in this, I think. He's still got his...
I mean, you say that, but I know we haven't covered it for the pod, but there's... I think last October we watched that Arsenic and Old Lace, when he was like a...
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a...
I still think James Stewart could have done that too. If I was like Hitchcock, I'd just direct James Stewart all the time. Like, yep, I'll have you if you want me.
Just like some directors have recurring, like, we work well with one another.
What's the one with the burp guy from Poor Things?
Willem Dafoe.
Isn't he always in
he's in lots of...
everywhere.
But he's not tied to one director, let's say.
Like, lots of directors just really like him.
You think, like, Wes Anderson normally hires like Bill Murray to be in films and stuff. And,
Yeah.
I think there's an example there. But...
It's true. So, with watching this then, like, how do you feel? Like, do you think I'm being harsh? Or do you think I'm... Apart from the end scene, like, I think everything else really stood out to me and had value. Like, even I did think the comedy piece where, like, he's in the auction.
Yeah, where he's purposely trying to get the cops to arrest him.
But somewhat backfires on him. But not in a sense, because I didn't know if that was, like, a baddie coming after him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the people...
Like the FBI type of... Yeah.
Like, oh, well, poor Roger Thornhill, like, one lady said, because she's like, oh, well, we should meddle. And it's like, no, like, if they want to think he's George Kaplan, leave it to them.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah, but a poor innocent man basically is going to die.
Yeah.
And then I think the more it's getting escalated, and he throws Eve under the bus when he's in the auction, saying, oh, you know, you're all right getting too smoochy with me kind of thing.
Yeah.
And blowing her cover, in a sense, that then they needed to think about something else to save him.
Mm-hmm. What did you make of Philip Van Damme, who was the sort of like mastermind behind it all? He's the one who...
Is he the baddie?
Yeah,
The bad guy?
James Mason, yeah.
I didn't hate him, but I could tell he was villainous. Like, he's the bad person that you shouldn't like. But I think he did have a soft spot for Eve, and he didn't really want to...
Yeah. Isn't it weird, like, the fact that she's like, oh, he's British, so therefore he's...
he's a bad person.
Which, ironically, James Mason was born in Yorkshire.
Oh, good on him.
But Cary Grant was born in Bristol,
Oh,
England.
English?
And originally his name was Archie Leach.
Yeah, I understand why he got rid of that.
Yeah. So.
But why did I think he was American, Cary Grant? I don't know. James Stewart's American.
Yeah. True American, yeah.
Yeah. I think
yeah.
He just looks American.
Yeah. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
I actually think James Stewart wasn't. Like, I would have said he's more looks like he could be from England.
Really? Why?
I don't know. I think it's the skinniness. Whereas I just think Cary Grant's got like more of a Hollywood face.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why he did so well in throughout his career. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just got that face. Yeah. But no, I can't believe the Yorkshire. So people saying Yorkshiremen are unfriendly, bad people. But the most friendliest, actually.
Yeah, although it didn't sound like he's Yorkshire. That would probably confuse all Americans.
That's what's weird though with the accents from like back then. Like they don't sound like how we sound now.
Yeah,
I don't know if they
spoke. Hey up.
Yeah, I don't know if they spoke properly.
Hey up, Roger.
They really did care though how you spoke, didn't they? Once they got to the talkies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this could be a silent movie?
Well, no. Why would you say that?
Just wondering. I always like to think about that, like from Singing in the Rain. Say like it's like moving because that's what I love about Singing in the Rain is it's a movie about a movie and about film and the new age of like films talking. That just makes you think, well, would it work? I guess it would, but I think it'd lose lots of dialogue. I
mean, you could draw it just by the actions of Cary Grant, like just the music going like the shock of everything, like like oh no, startled and everything that. But I guess I never really thought about it that way. That way, but I think there's probably Hitchcock has been like going for quite a while. I think he has done some silent work early on. I don't know how well they were. I've not seen them, but that is a sort of like a thing of interest to at some point look back or try and find them of what they are, then see how they work. If they come across as being as the master of suspense as he's sort of known for, if it works all. Yeah, but... No, I know what you mean. I always like to think about these things, like, because it's like, well, if it was done earlier, that's what it would. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. But then would it have been successful? Is it quite successful when it hit the blockbusters? Was it like a... Yeah, I think that's why they went with casting Cary Grant. Yeah. James. Which, if you think in itself, it's ironic of the fact that Vertigo was apparently a financial flop. Yet I'm pretty sure that's a couple of years ago when they did like the top 100 or 200 films of all time, and Vertigo was like second. Really? Of like all the films. Well, I just ask you this now because I think I know my answer, but I don't know if mine's biased. If you had to pick out of this film and Vertigo, which one would you? I think there's sort of more intrigue with Vertigo. Yeah. For sure. even like how that film is shot as well. There's more striking visuals, shall we say, for certain. That's not to take anything away from this film, because I still think it's very good overall, and I think it's sort of like that, I'd say more straightforward storyline, even though obviously there's the surprise elements, as it were, like as the film goes on, but I don't know if that answers you.
Yeah, no, definitely.
What you wanted to find out, I guess, was it more to do with the James Stewart versus Cary Grant?
Kind of, but I think as well, like, just with Hitchcock thinking Vertigo was a flop. Like, I remember watching Vertigo and really enjoying it from the...
Well, I don't know if he thought it was. I think it's just the return on
Yeah, but
investment.
I think that would probably have made him think that as well. Like, it didn't actually sell or do as well as he maybe anticipated. Yeah. I think for me, either Vertigo or Rear Window I would probably put above this one, personally. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to check on your opinion, because I didn't know if mine were just biased because of my love for James Stewart or not. No, that's a fair comment. I mean, as I now, it's not like, this is like one of my favourite Hitchcocks for like top. Well, I mean, it's up there, but not like. What would be like your top 3? Definitely Rear Window. Mm-hmm. I think probably Vertigo as well. Yeah. What about the birds? No, not the. Probably Psycho, I guess, and that sounds very much like, that's just the really popular ones, but yeah, there's loads of other ones with James Stewart in. I haven't seen. Probably some I haven't seen, to be honest. But... yeah, there's lots actually. Yeah. I didn't realise he'd done so many, like directed so many. No, as I say, if he's done some since the silent era, and true. But yeah, I feel like though back then it was one of those things like. It's either Cary Grant or James Stewart, wasn't it? Like predominantly, yeah. Leading men, yeah. I don't know what my third one would be. I know we've done like Hitchcock months, but I don't really think I can put the birds in there. If I'm honest. Or Psycho. What do you think of our lead then, like lead lady? Do you think she portrays quite well? Do you think she's one of those where it's like, is she an actual spy, or is it just sound good and then she can get the guy, or is she a goodie all but along? Why would the people at the thing say that? The helper. Yeah, you wouldn't just say that for the sake of it. No, it's not like we're just taking her word for it, are we? True. There's the other guy. Yeah, but yeah. I think in the end that it all works out fine, doesn't it? What is actually in the thing? In that microfilm in that like statue thing? Yeah, what is that? What's what? What is microfilm, or like what? It'd be like might be like incriminating evidence of something, like like footage of something that's like like plans. No, it wasn't a MacGuffin. No, it would have been if. I mean, technically you don't see what's on it, but you just But it's not like open up a case and it's not revealed. It's not just talked about. And you actually see this thing that's got this. So. My last thing that I want to personally bring up is just, I feel like we kind of, no pun intended, dusted over it a little bit. The crop duster section, yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, like that shot as well, like just that open space and everything, like it just feels very like empty area, and it's like so quiet and silent, aside for obviously the cars going by. And well, to him, like, I think it's quite ironic because, like, obviously the plane or helicopter or whatever you want, it's a plane, isn't it? Yeah, that's what a crop duster is. Yeah, little plane. Yeah. Like Cary Grant will look like a little ant, like kind of in a little desert like mound, and he'll look like a little pea-sized person when he's up in the sky, pretending. And that plane is there for ages, like doing that. He's already there before Cary kind of gets there. Yeah, but he doesn't think anything of it, and it's quite funny how he's just stood at the bus stop. There's nothing there. There's nothing. Like I did think, are they leaving him for dead? Why is that, like, ironic? But it's just the fact that the person was already there, but he was looking for a car, looking for somebody to appear, a bus, like, when that man arrives and he starts talking to him, thinking, am I meant to be speaking to him? I think that seems, like, looking back at that, like, seems quite suspenseful, even though it's not, like, in a way that you would think it would be, if that makes sense, because it's almost like, if we were in that situation, you're waiting for someone and you're like, who's this car going to be? No, no, it's not. Or just, you're waiting for a taxi or something. Very vulnerable as well, because like, you're very exposed at that point. And he doesn't know who he's seeing or what he's going to get. Because you're in the middle of nowhere and you could just get gunned down Yeah, well, literally get the plane wants to just take his head off, basically.
But even that could happen in a car, couldn't it? Like, drive-by thing. And
I assumed it was going to come by a car. I never thought it was going to be a plane that was coming for him. So that was like another kind of interesting...
Did you not think of anything when that guy at the bus stop says, "Oh, that's funny, that crop's just as, like, not doing anything"?
But obviously it was there already.
Beforehand, so it was in the back, literally in the background.
Yeah.
And then you start approaching, it's like, oh, he's getting closer.
Yeah. And it is quite sinister, actually, to be
foreboding,
like... Yeah. Especially, like, he has nothing on him, he's got nothing to defend himself. Apart from running away, but, like, this is a massive vehicle that can, like, you know...
Yeah, he gets the upper hand with that anyway, because he stops at, like, a big tanker truck type thing, and then the plane just decides to crash.
I don't know if that's trying to do it, though, because to hope that it explodes and kills him at the same time.
They could also, jump, didn't necessarily, go kamikaze it.
Yeah, commit suicide themselves.
To do it, they could, jump out of the plane or something to save themselves.
But then you'd have to have a scuffle.
And do you think that would lessen the... Maybe slightly cringe.
I know in your booklet you just read that you mentioned to me that it's Hitchcock was basically had complete creative direction on this, and
that's why the film was quite as long as it was.
And basically people were saying it could be cut.
The studio,
the fact that the studio is saying that and it's in the booklet, and then I'm saying that maybe there is a bit of a room to cut it down, but I don't think it was one of those where I was like, oh.
That I don't think that scene. I think that definitely should stay as long as it is.
Oh, the crop duster. Yeah. But the heads.
But to be fair, that doesn't go on for that long.
Oh, it felt like it was just because I knew it was coming to an end as well, and then I think it just annoyed me how abrupt it ended, with the cut scene and then the end, and it was just
that was kind of a wink, cheeky wink.
Oh yeah,
with the fact that. When the last thing of that, and then it's the train going in the tunnel. You're because what they're getting down to.
Paul,
that's what Hitchcock did.
You don't know that? Did you read it, or you just interpreting it that way?
It's to say that in there as well. So
I thought you were just interpreting it that way. So obviously, I don't have anything else to say. I don't know if you've got anything else to bring up. Have you got the little matchbook box thing then, or is it just
that's on that? It just says rot, which is his initials, really, and that's something that's a clever thing that he does when he goes to rescue Eve.
Yeah.
To get her attention, because she obviously knows she's seen the matches packet that has to
Yeah, because obviously they find out that she's on his side basically, and there were blanks, and she didn't actually kill him.
Yeah. I guess she didn't think, oh no, he's dead at that point when
no. I was thinking how they're going to get this, portray it that he's not. It didn't seem... I think if she'd have done that and had not known she was, an agent herself, then that would have been a bit more impactful, because I would have thought she's just gone off rogue and shot him. And then maybe we could have got that bit afterwards, but obviously he'd need to know.
He'd be in the know for that, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe it would have worked if he was in the know off camera, but we just didn't know as a viewer.
I don't think there's nothing else to say in that, I personally think the runtime, there's very little, if at all, kind of thing thinking, oh yeah, that could be cut out, really. Thing like that. I think the way it's played out, and appreciate the the humour aspects that we've got going on in this semi-serious situation that he's been put into and everything like that. Really works. He's charismatic, as we know. Eva's character, Eve, she plays her character well.
Yeah.
As I say, she comes across as someone who can hold her own, yet be that seductress kind of aspect to her, and so the appeal that it would have for the male audience, should we say, as well. So that, and I don't think I would say even the hired goons of they're quite intimidating. They don't say a great deal, but they look like typical oh yeah, they're the bad guys.
Yeah, and they're not going to give in.
No, I don't think. I'd say it's not my absolute favourite Hitchcock film, but it's definitely a high mark. Well, I'll get to my score in a minute, but I'm interested to know what you rate the film first. Obviously, it's your first time watching everything, so based on what you've been saying.
And it's not going to be... You're probably going to think I'm being more generous than actually the way that I've been slagging it off, if you think I have. I think it's more... I'm holding it to a higher standard in my head than what it is. Like, there's certain parts that I love, and there's certain parts that I'm like, oh, I could do without. And I think that would be when I would, like, go, oh, I'll nip to the toilet in this scene. I don't know, it sounds daft, but I feel like that's the only thing. It's like, oh, it's a shame that it has those moments that make me feel that way. Like, I could sit watching Singing in the Rain, I'd be like, I'll pause it. I'll go to the toilet, and then I'll come back. Like, that's how important it is for me to watch it through to the end.
Yeah.
This, I think, for the first time you do want that, but I think it's just so long that you do need a bit of breathing space from it. I think all of it is valid, but some of it could be shorter. Cary Grant does a really good performance. He is who he is, like, as a character. Eva is really solid as well. Like, you two leads are great. Is it my favourite Hitchcock? No. Would it be one that I'd be like, oh yeah, I really want to put back on? Probably, but there's so many others that would top trump it. I think, like, I'd put Bringing Up Baby, The Apartment. I know these are not Hitchcocks, but, that era.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
The same kind of, like, cast.
Vibe.
That you would, like, cast at that point in time.
Okay.
And even, like, Vertigo, like we said, and Rear Window, like, they would top trump it. So I think that's the... And even, what was the other one you mentioned that we saw Cary Grant in? And he was quite funny, and it was a bit more like...
Oh, Arsenic and Old Lace,
Yeah. These are ones where... I think the thing that lets it down is it's trying to go for action. It is like a bit of a James Bond, like, obviously I can't say, I think James Bond have got their inspiration from this.
Obviously they had the books written before that, but then obviously film interpretations of those books came like...
After.
1962 was the first James Bond film. So the way that they, I suppose you could say, is inspiration from that to potentially to make a template for that, going forward. But
and I just don't think James Bonds have ever really been something I've really gone out for. Like, it's not something I'd be like, oh, I mean, I'd love to watch all James Bonds like throughout. Like, it's just not a me thing.
Yeah. Whereas that for me, that's something I've sort of grown up with from parents and stuff. Like, they've had the VHS tapes of them sort of handed down and then kind of stuff. And so, I mean, I haven't gone back to them in quite a while, but they've kind of stuck with me in a way of certainly the older ones anyway. Also, you can take them for what they are. They've got a lot of action stuff going in them. Got, like, obviously beautiful women, like, as part of the package, as it were.
It's got a good theme tune to it, I guess.
Normally they do have good theme tunes as well.
So I think, all in all, sorry, that was long-winded. It's going to be an 8.
Right. Okay.
I feel like normally these films are like a 9 or a 10 for me, so I think that's what I'm struggling with personally. I still don't think it's low.
No, I didn't know whether you're going to go for a 9, all being said, but that's what I'm going to go for, really.
I was toying with an 8.5, but then I think the ending just annoyed me a bit too much.
Okay, fair enough.
So 9 for you?
9 for me, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Not perfect score, but yeah.
What would make it a 10? Not the ending, for me.
I don't know, really. I'm not 100% as to why what would tip it over to that thing, but I think, I said, like, there's other ones that have more of the, let's say charm, let's call it, and slight more intrigue, really.
Agreed.
To it all, but yeah, I think just 9 still high grade for something like this. Yeah,
sounds good.
Yeah.
Right, that's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Yep.
So, do we go on to our patrons?
We do indeed.
So, if you want to be a patron, it costs £1 or $1.50 a month. Not even a week. Like, it's a month. It's like 25p a week. Dirt cheap. And you get the perks of being shouted out every single week, and you get to pick a movie once a month. So if you want to be part of our little community, then you can go to patreon.com/SP Film Viewers and follow all the link there. And
yeah, we can get those little perks.
Yeah.
And help support the show.
Definitely. So the first Patreons we've got, I don't know why I said first, but let's just firstly, instead of last, is my mum. We've then got Alex and Shani, who are on Instagram under the handle Desperately Seeking Username and SDOG.
We've also got Jonesy and Emma, who are at Weight Loss Jonesy and M_Hayton on Instagram. And our friend Chris Gren, who is at CGren_draw on Instagram.
Then got our podcast people. So we've got Mark from 100 Things We Learned from Film. We've got Ben from Push Pull Health, formerly Film Vloggers. And then we've got Nico from The Good, The Bad and The Weird podcast.
So thanks, guys, for your continuing support. And obviously very much appreciate anybody else who wants to join the family as well. So that's it. Another, I say, Hitchcock in the bank. I say there is like so many more films, some that obviously I haven't seen as well. There is a good James Stewart one I know I've seen. Yeah, so you think you'd probably appreciate that as well. But
yeah.
It's not to say a niche one, but not one that immediately springs to mind with people. But
as long as it's got James Stewart in, I'm fine by that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you for picking. It wasn't a complete disaster, so I appreciate
That's
it.
Good. And you appreciate the quality, I suppose.
Yes, I did.
So, thank you very much for listening once again. And we'll speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Take care now. Bye.
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 Bye.